This is Kevin Price. Welcome back. Glad to be with you, talking to you about you and your business. It's good for you and your business to kind of know how your name matters in the way you behave, the way you think, and that's exactly what Carrie Hopkins, our guest. She's with a company called NameZook, Z-O-O-K, NameZook.com, and it talks about how our name affects who we are. Carrie, welcome to the program. How are you today?
Kevin, how are you doing? I'm doing great.
Good.
So good
to have you on. Tell us a little bit about NameZook.com and how it came into existence.
Well, it started when I was 3. I was in nursing school. I met this girl. Her name was Amy, and within 3 days of meeting her, she bit me. I'm like, there's Amy's, right? So I stereotyped a person. And then I didn't do anything about that until, first grade, and then I met a guy. I was looking around my classroom, and there are these girls not listening to the teacher and talking too much and sitting in their chair wrong, and they're both named Kathy. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. And then there's 2 guys in the class house named Bob, and they were very nice and kind, and they loved information, loved it, and they were quiet though. But when you went on the playground, you talked to them, they could talk forever. And so I started stereotyping people when I was literally little itty bitty, and oh my gosh, I'm so good at this. And turns out it's studied all around the world, everywhere, like Oxford and Chicago and UCLA where I went, and MIT, and there's something about a name. A name can dedicate, what people are like, what they're motivated by, what their fears are, what their strengths are. And so you apply to business. Are you kidding me? You can just go off the tracks.
Right. So talk a little bit about the name Kevin. I know Stephen reached out to you and said specifically, let's do an analysis of our host. Let's make fun of him. So what do you get from the name Kevin?
Okay, I've got a brother named Kevin. I love Kevin. Love them. They're very independent, and they're truth detectors. I mean, you have to find the truth on everything. You just don't settle down until you find out what the truth is. And you're extremely curious. You drove your mother nuts because you were always taking things apart and putting them together again because you just love to know how things work. You love that. You're very personable. You've got a great story. You're so much fun. But romantic wise, you love the people you're with, but you're very fickle because you love falling in love.
Interesting. So let me ask you how do I phrase this? Do people's names affect how they'll behave? I guess that's what I want to ask.
Yes, exactly. I know who needs, Kevin, I love you. If I were going to cold call you, I need to give you a joke. You need to be personable. You need to, you need to be wooed kind of things. You like to see the creative part of things. But other people like Dick, Richard, oh my gosh, they're all about finance. They're all about money. They're all about getting the cheapest price possible. And some people are Hannah, the kindest people in the wide world. They'll help you. There's so many people who it's all based on what their name is, if they're accepting or they're going to be very not accepting of what you're saying.
Right. And so, and I know my producer is going to go, Sigmund, who set up this call, he's going to wonder, what in the world does Sigmund mean? And you may have to look that up. I don't know. But
I love Sigmund.
What about Sigmund?
What a good person he is. I mean, honestly, if I could give him advice, I consult people all over the world, 5 continents. If I could consult him, I would just say, gain your strength, because he's such a good person, but he's always looking out for everybody else. He loves underdogs. He doesn't get promoted. He works double freaking overtime for everybody and doesn't get promoted because you know why? Because he doesn't want to be, people don't want to replace him. So if they replace him with 2 people because he's such an amazing worker. He's such a good person. He's so smart. Oh my gosh. You got the best employee ever, Kevin.
Well, I wish I did. He works for the station. He does a lot of stuff for me way beyond the Call of Duty simply because Because he's Sigmund. Yeah, he's phenomenal at what he does. And I've been in radio for, 20-plus years, and I would say he's among the absolute best producers I've had, although I would never want him to hear that. He probably is.
Yes.
Dang. But anyway, he is phenomenal at what he does. So how do you work with, what kind of people do you work with, and what kind of services do you bring to people because of this knowledge?
Well, I work with billionaires, frankly, and they all kind of, when you first meet them, they want to know, like, what about my golf? They tell me names, I don't know who they are. They just say, like, Kevin or Sigmund, I don't know who they are. Turns out they're golf buddies. And then after that, they go to the family members and see if I'm right about that. And then once I'm right about both golf buddies and family members, then they apply me to their work. So then they're corporations. I work with HR people, about hiring people, because you want to hire the best people, And then once you hire them, doesn't mean they're not great, but you have to team them with the right people. And then once you hire them and team them with the right people, then you have to have them apply, like cold calling. So what my work does, frankly, is I raise their sales by 20% instantly by just knowing how to relate to people when you call. I work with philanthropies, and I work for corporations and cold calling and sales reps and telemarketers. And if you just know what the person's name is, then you know how to relate to them.
I'm fixing to have to end it, but I do want to ask you, are there certain names? I would assume in certain industries and positions there's certain names you want to avoid, but I would also assume because they got those names, they probably avoided those positions anyway. Is that true?
Well, you know what? Like Roger. Roger's a frickin' tough person. I would not want to work with a Roger. But you know what? He's no nonsense. I would put him as a bill collector in a second. I would put him as a lawyer in a second because he just goes for it, and he's like no nonsense and just doesn't care what people think about him. So every bad name also has a good part to them.
Right. Yeah. But I guess what I mean, but I would assume with certain industries, these names are going to gravitate towards those industries, correct?
Oh, yeah. Sales, like Kevin, I would put you in sales. I would put you with the communication, like you're in a radio show. Perfect for you. You need to be heard. You need to voice your opinion because you're so fun, bossy, you get your point across.
Claire, I appreciate you so much. Enjoyed it so much. Again, the website is namezook, ZOOK.com. Thanks for picking me apart. It was a lot of fun.
You're welcome, Kevin.
We'll come back much more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at USNavyReview.com, and you're listening to The Price of Business.